But it was in what he felt for this place that became his home that we are all now enriched and at a loss. Frankie was one of the most generous spirits you will ever meet in your entire life. He loved it here. He met his beautiful wife, Deb, here. He loves his wife, Deb. He loves you. He loves me. He loves Matt Russell. He loves all of us. He loves cooking for us. He loved making a place where he could welcome everybody. Going in there, when he would say your name, Jennifer, Jeffrey, you go in, and that was your welcoming. It was like Cheers. You knew you were someplace where not only you were welcome, but you were among friends. So, the food community doesn't really have a way of lowering our culinary flags to half-mast. How we tend to do things is with a toast, with a cheer. We tend to live a little brighter and a little more passionately and a little more purposefully when we lose one of our own. And so, on this day, when our dear friend Frankie Santos kept on sleeping, we thank God that he came our way. We hope that all the pain that he was in was eased and that peace was the chariot that took him where he went next. And I am thrilled that my friends are here today with me to mark this passing, to celebrate this life, and to live with the kind of gusto that he gave us. And once again, the generous Frankie, he gave us the theme for the show today. We had already kind of been talking about how do we manage and deal with everything that comes along with life as it shifts and changes. And he gave us, once again, he was maybe the most selfless, generous human being I've ever met. He gave us our topic. So Bev and I were talking about this. I'm going to open it up, Jeffrey, to you and Rianne as well. And life is a series of moments that shift. So one of the things I wanted to ask about was here and now. Does here and now continue to be here and now, that moment of the present, when people leave and things change? Is the present a moment of change or a moment of changing? Bev, I wanted to start off by asking you that.
So we're told through many over the years that there's only now. There's only the eternal now, because the past is dead. It only serves to learn from, and the future is not yet written. It sets up tension. So when you look at what's going on continuously in the world of reality, the spiritual world, that there is no time. There's this unlimited possibilities, and that's what we enter back into. So it's us here that say, in this moment, this has happened, or this has shifted, or this is different. Because from a universal standpoint, it's just all one continuous beauty. So we pop in and we pop out. But what is on that wonderful place you were talking about that you hope peace took him to was a continuous loving essence. It's just who we are. So
the idea of the sadness that we have, because we're human beings, is an idea that also carries along with the idea of understanding. How come we're so hung up on needing to understand everything?
Well, I think from a personality standpoint, because that's how we register it in our little ego consciousness, what that's really saying is, I'm hungry to know the truth about myself. I'm searching for understanding to take me into what I somehow register below that consciousness, because that power that we really are is always trying to pull us. So when I need to know this, I need to know, well, that is what we're really saying is, I need to know something deeper beyond that. And so the little personality perceives it as just acquiring knowledge about this. So we're hungry. We're hungry for that. We're hungry for mind. Yeah, it takes.
And that understanding is the companion to the curiosity.
So that takes us into knowledge. That's a whole different ball game. So when we begin to, what is understanding? What are we trying to understand? What we really are saying, I want to understand who I am. I want to know what this is.
Do you also think it means like you're looking for where is your place in the world? Because I feel like that's what I'm getting out of what you're saying is sometimes I'm wondering, well, how do I fit into this big picture?
Of course.
Yeah.
And that is what the higher self is here to guide us into knowing that, because it's all about us being available, and then we will understand and know what our part is, what we're here to contribute to that greater whole called humanity.
You have a mastery that you're sharing generously with us. It takes the form of the discipline of biotouch. It takes the form of doing your esoteric astrology, among other things. We're here today in this company of good friends. And what's so amazing to me is that we all are trying to figure out who we are and what we do here. And we're no different than everybody and anybody else. So when we ask these questions, we're kind of asking everybody questions.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I just want to say this. There's nothing in this experience called the humanity, the fourth kingdom nature, that is new. We're not creating anything new. It's just in those pockets of time, that popping in and popping out, that whatever is the major purpose of that experience is there in front of us for us to understand and for us to grow from. But we've been doing this for eons of time, all of us. So
With
your
each-
experience is my experience.
Okay, with each generation, are we getting better at it? Are we getting more efficient at it? Or are we just still as hopeless humanoids as we've ever been?
Yeah, what? Just do something. I
No.
can't hear anything. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Are you plugged in? How's that?
Okay,
Is that
you're
any
good.
better?
I guess I did. Thank you. I'm sorry. Because I wanted to say something about that.
Are we getting better at
Oh yeah.
Are we getting more
So-
efficient, or are we
so-
just the hapless humanoids
Right.
on the sitcom of universal existence?
So the plan, I remember the other day I was talking about, there is a plan already set, a purpose on this planet. The plan is evolution. We're meant to progress. You can't stop. That's the innateness of the whole cosmic order is evolution. But we think it's the evolution of the form world. It's the evolution of that which has created the form world.
We're going to take a very quick break. And when we come back, more here on Spirit's Kitchen with my good friends, Rianne Maldonado, Jeffrey Green, and Bev Wood. We'll take your calls and questions, 520-790-2040. And in this segment, as we pay tribute to our friend Frankie Santos, make sure you go by there in the next couple of days and have a sandwich. That would make Frankie really happy. I know it would. We'll be back with more right after this.
We have.
They've eaten. (1:23 p.m. straight up, and you are here. It's lunchtime, and we're live in the city of gastronomy. This is Around the Table, where each and every day we invite the most interesting and influential tastemakers, newsmakers, style makers, lawmakers, movers and shakers, healers, foodies, and friends. And I want to send a shout out. Yes, Bob. I love it when you get your. I can't hear you. Bob, I adore you. We're fixing our microphones in the studio today because we have a full house of dear friends. Bev Wood is in the house, and I'm thrilled she's here. Jeffrey Green from Natural Awakenings magazine, the plant medicine editor, is here. And we're going to ask him about something that, in just a little bit, we're going to ask him if plant medicine is a pathway to getting clear understanding of who we are. We're going to ask him about that. And Rianne Maldonado is here because this is all right now on YouTube Live. You can visit us at 1030 The Voice, 1030 The Voice, and you can see what's going on. You can join us. We've got our Holy Spirit candle. We've got pie from the Beeline because when we were driving in today, we were talking about how peach cobbler touches our hearts, and it's peach season, and the best time to eat peach pie is peach season. And we went by Boca Tacos and got some fantastic tacos from Maria Maison. We're going to be nibbling on those as well as we explore in our conversation together the idea of how we become more ourselves and the idea of the inevitability of change, as we note with gratitude and sadness the passing of our dear friend Frankie Sadnos. We say, Bev, thanks so much for being here, and thanks for sort of picking up the conversation about where we go next and our understanding of this idea. Are things changing, shifting? What's the best way to talk about the fact that life tomorrow is not going to be the same as life today?
Change is the only constant. Expect it. And you can choose to embrace it and recognize what it's there for, or you can succumb to it and become a victim. We have all experienced both of those extremes, I'm sure. So, this is knowing that from day to day, this is how the physical world operates. And what's going on now is not so much a change as a shifting of consciousness in humanity. And when that happens, it stimulates this cracking open because it no longer satisfies us. It's no
What's cracking open?
All of the old paradigms. So let me say, every single desire and action begins with a thought form. And then depending on how it is fired in your gut, you manifest it. And so we become either the creators of our divine experience or the victims of our own. So we have to take ownership of everything that's happening. We've all agreed.
Because we've had an active role in making what's happening happen right this minute, even if it's something we're like right now stamping our feet and grinding our teeth.
We have to look and say, wait a minute, this is so because we all agreed it was so, and now we don't like it. And now let's do something better. This is an amazing, it's the best of times and the worst of times.
As they say.
As they say. It's profound for us.
When you do how do I introduce you? Because you're going to be on with us regularly, and people might know you in the community because you've been here a while, and you're one of the directors at the International BioTouch Foundation, and in that role, you've done an incredible amount of good for an awful lot of people for a long time. In addition, you're a practitioner of certain modalities that help, including esoteric astrology, which helps people really. And again, all of these are designed. When we talk about healing, it's one thing, but it's the healing that comes through self-awareness.
Right.
So, are you a self-awareness philanthropist the way Michelle Cardenas is a spiritual philanthropist?
I always say I'm always a student. I'm always learning. I'm always trying to better my relationship with that which calls me, I'll say. And so I have many hats. I'm a certified spiritual counselor. I am a esoteric astrologer. I am a biotouch instructor and practitioner. I am a ordained minister. So I've just gathered many tools, and a lot of them were already there to just be found again. Yeah.
I'm grateful that you're here, because when we gather together on Fridays, we like to make things really actionable. We like to do things that we give people. We give them something. You give me something. We give Rianne something. Rianne gives me something. We're sharing all the time. We're giving things that somebody can take and do something with to make their life better, like right this minute. Given that, when we were talking yesterday and today about coming together today to do this, and we were talking about all the challenges that we've got all around us and how we were going to come be of service today, and how we could bring some really simple ideas about making a little more peace within ourselves, how we could use the tools that we have around us to be in service to other people maybe a little bit. I want to reach out to Jeffrey, to Rianne, and to you on this moment of assignment, which is, what do you think we really need to do simply to make things better? And what do you think we can share that will inspire somebody to hear what they are going to hear right now with us, to take some action that is going to trigger a shift that's going to make their tomorrow different than today?
So,
because that's a big idea, but it's a simple idea.
Right. Isn't it always?
And I always say the same thing when you ask a question like that.
Which is?
I always say, listen, stop and listen to yourself.
And that goes...
Listen to your gut. Listen to your mind.
That goes back to what we were talking about prior to the break, and the present moment, and just being in the now. Because if you're not in the now, you can't truly be listening.
Right.
Or seeing, or moving forward.
Or moving forward on the right thing, because you didn't listen to what your gut, your soul, spirit was telling you to do.
Tell me how, if I'm listening to my boss with one ear, listening to the radio with the other ear.
No, you have to stop and breathe.
Tap, tap, tap. How does this happen? How does this work that it becomes... Breath. How do I get to the place where I can listen, Jeffrey? How can I go somewhere or do something that makes it easier for me to listen to my gut? Or is listening to my gut like lesson one?
It's just simply, you have to connect with your body. You have to breathe. And I think with Jeffrey, he'll probably have something awesome to add, but I know he knows the whole Reiki part of it, where you have to breathe and you have to be in the moment. Whatever you have to say to yourself to calm yourself, to ground yourself. You don't have to do anything special or go anywhere, or if you're at work and your boss is yammering at you, just take a moment to breathe and then you'll listen.
And for listening, you can't really be thinking about the conversation that's taking place and trying to formulate a response to what the person is saying to you. Because if you're worried about how you're going to respond or what you're going to say next, you're not in the moment. You're in the future. And if you're not in the moment, you can't listen.
Because you can't hear the sort of essence of the message of what's being said to you.
And how your body is reacting to know how you really feel about that message.
All right, I have a kind of crazy question. Given that we're sort of in the business of sound, we're in the business of messages, we're in the business of broadcasting, we're in the business of sharing questions, answers. And it has to do with listening. If there is a way to listen with openness, how do I get to listening with openness versus listening with a little defensiveness or a little predisposition or a little, if I'm a little bit hungry and angry, how do I figure out where I am and become more able to listen? I want to start there.
Well, I think having the intention, knowing that you want to.
Makes
And
a difference.
Absolutely. And again, I feel like I'm beating the dead horse, but breath. Because if you take that moment to take that deep breath and connect with your innermost self, bring it all the way down to your sacral chakra, you're going to, it's kind of like a little timeout to clear your mind and connect back to what you need to be doing or thinking. And you can say, okay, I know I'm hungry right now, or I know I'm a little mad at this person, but I'm going to separate that intention, set that intention to actually just hear what they're saying.
I have kind of a build on this that I want to share with you, and I want to get your reaction. There is some intention to everything that is being directed at us. And that the things that people are taking the time and care to say to us are things that we need to hear. And it may seem like it's from a source that you don't even know. A radio station you don't normally listen to, a billboard, a book, a person you've never met before, people crossing your path. Messages come to us to listen to in lots of different ways.
Absolutely.
And sometimes I think the best things that can be listened to in complete silence. I was fortunate enough to do a hot air balloon ride over the 4th of July weekend. And I had done one 30 years ago. What was amazing to me and what I didn't remember about the first experience is the silence that is present when you're how many 100 feet up in the air. There's no chaos. There's no sound. And it was so peaceful. And it kind of opened my eyes a little bit that we are so used to so many messages all the time that it's hard to maybe pinpoint in on one specific message that's coming to us from the universe.
Is there some kind of sense of awareness that if we bring to the day, so that we have awareness of the messages that are coming at us and to us, that if we have that intention to know that this is a message for me, I better listen to this. If we listen that deliberately, with that kind of intention, Bev, how does that change what happens?
So there's something that's starting to, I do a workshop based on bringing ourselves into the rhythm of our daily lives, connecting to something that is trying to work through us. And it's part of becoming the observer of our own thoughts and sometimes catching them and recognizing that those are harmful, those aren't working, and then what we call reprogramming, reorienting ourselves. But this happens on a daily pattern that we are here to establish in our lives. When you begin the day in a certain way and you feel the day in a certain way and you end the day, there's an old adage, you begin the day with love, you feel the day with love, and you end the day with love. And when you're doing that, you are participating in a beautiful dance. You are, it's our path to what we call self-awareness or a consciousness. So consciousness isn't necessarily a level of intelligence or mind. Consciousness is related to the heart. It's related to intelligently loving. So it begins right where we are and paying attention. So I call the soul the interior decorator, because if we pay attention, we are going to bring into our environment symbols, colors, sounds, all of those things that bring us into a 24/7 state of beauty that we're living in. Take 20 minutes and listen to yourself, listen to the music, read a beautiful book. That's what we owe ourselves.
Well, we have the intention of the words that are meant just for you. My good friend Jeffrey Green is going to share something that we share every week together, just for today.
Yes, it's an affirmation that is so easy. it can start your day with just a great positive movement forward. So these are the 5 principles to the practice of Reiki, which is an energy healing. So these are the 5 principles, and it's something that I say not only in the morning, but sometimes throughout the day, a dozen times if I just need to refocus. Just for today, I will not worry. I will trust. Just for today, I will not be angry. I will love. Just for today, I will do my work honestly. I'll be true to myself and to others. Just for today, I'll be thankful for my many blessings. And just for today, I'll be kind to my neighbor and every living thing.
Just for today.
Just for today.
And now in this moment, but just before we take our next break, I'm going to ask you, and because you are a Reiki master.
I am.
And what does it mean to be a Reiki master?
Reiki master, there are 3 levels to Reiki, and there are level 1 where you can learn to work energy on yourself. There's level 2 where you can build on that and work with other people. Then there's a level 3 that sort of incorporates level 1 and level 2, but you can send it out as well through time and through space. There is no distance, there is no time to
And
Reiki energy.
And level 3 as a master, it's the other word for teacher. So when you reach level 3, you can then teach others and attune others to do Reiki as well.
And so we're going to do our weekly Radio Reiki.
Mm.
And now this isn't something that you need to like be nervous or explain what Radio Reiki is, guys.
Radio Reiki, and like I was just saying, because there is no time or distance to it, the energy is always present. It has always been present, and it will always be present. So Reiki is just tapping into that infinite energy that always was and always will be, recognizing that energy, inviting that energy in, celebrating that energy, and then sharing that same energy. That's Reiki.
Mm-hmm. And Radio Reiki is we just do it over the radio.
Absolutely.
So we're sharing. Thank you for sharing, by the way.
My pleasure.
Go ahead.
Because the energy is all around us, we can breathe that into our body. So if you're sitting there, or if you're driving, or if you're standing, or dusting, or vacuuming, whatever you are doing, you are immersed in healing, loving energy. By recognizing that and breathing it into our lungs, it can flow through our body into every cell, every molecule. We can welcome it. We can share it.
Thank you very much. We're going to take a very quick break now. Let that all settle in. AM 1030 The Voice, trusted local news and talk, where the local news is the local talk and the local talk is the local news. This is Around the Table, live from the City of Gastronomy on kvoi.com and on the World Wide Web on YouTube, where you can YouTube live with us right now at 1030 The Voice. Bob, that's correct, right? 1030 The Voice. We'll be back with more right after this. Hey, welcome back. 1:44 p.m. 1:44:44. I love that.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's magical.
I
It
know,
is.
right?
I have dreams about the number 44.
So it's
And
1:44:44.
Angel numbers.
They
That's
are?
a big deal. Yeah, I had a dream, and usually you can't see numbers in your dreams. You're not supposed to be able to. But I had such a clear dream. I was looking at a clock, and it was 8:44. And I woke up and I told my husband, I don't know what this is going to mean, but we need to pay attention to it because it's 8:44. And everywhere I go, I'm always looking at the clock at 44 because I'm supposed to see. That's one of those messages.
Mhm.
Exactly.
And I, at that moment,
That was a message for you.
it reminds me now every time I see a 44 to take a breath and connect and say,
And so
"Ah."
when we come back to Around the Table,
Mhm.
live from the City of Gastronomy on AM 1030 The Voice, where you can be tuned in right now with us on YouTube live for 1030 The Voice. How apropos that when we came back at 1:44, you just picked right up.
Yeah.
That is, of course, Rianne Maldonado.
Yeah.
And you know what's so funny? You've had such a ginormous week. People all
Yeah.
over the planet have been reading about you this week because
oh my gosh, did you see the Daily Mail?
in the United Kingdom,
Yes.
Yes.
It says husband and wife private investigator team, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my gosh. We
Let's-
never dreamed it would go international.
So-
all over.
It's everywhere.
and she's here with us. She's like, they want me on the Graham Norton show, but I'm here with you.
Goodness, no.
I want to be on Graham Norton.
You look like Graham Norton.
I love Graham Norton.
All right, so here
So
we
funny.
are with Bev Wood and our good friend Rianne Maldonado and Jeffrey Green here. 520-790-2040 is our number. And a lot of great stuff happens during the break, and we have to say things like, save this, we're going to be back in a minute, everybody needs to hear this. And of course, during the break, you shuffled your cards and you put some of the cards that you work with, because one of your gifts, in addition to being a Reiki master, is that you read tarot cards as part of the way that you share messages
Yeah, or get through daily life.
or get through daily life.
Absolutely.
So what did you do? What did you...
So this was funny when Bev was talking earlier with you about, shifting and changing and waking up. And she said something that spurred my interest when she talked about how does it start in your body? Like, what do you feel first? Or, instantly I had to pull out all the ace cards of the tarot deck because there are 4 suits, and I'll keep it short. There's cups, wands, swords, and pentacles. But what's amazing about it is
And each means...
they each mean something, and I'm going to tell you the process. It's so funny that you can follow kind of like the manifesting of everything that we do in this system. So cups are emotions, and that is every idea we have starts with a feeling. We feel like we like something and we want to go do something about it, or we feel we don't like something. So it starts with a feeling. Then it progresses to the wands, which are our ideas. They are a spark of fire within us. So we took that emotion and now we're turning it into an idea. And then it progresses to the swords, which are action and thoughts. We're now putting it into a plan that we can do something about it. And then it ends with the pentacles, the manifestation in the physical world. So everything we do, every choice, everything we do starts with a feeling and progresses through here. Another beautiful thing about the tarot, it just really follows life, or life follows the tarot.
And so what does this tell us about how we can be in this moment, tuning in to the listening that's going to give us the messages that are meant for us?
Awareness. And also, I think if we're feeling like life is chaotic, this right here can bring it back to actually there still is a system. There's a process. And if we realize, okay, I'm in the emotional stage of something, I'm having a feeling about something, the next logical step will be, I need to have an idea about it. I need to do something about it, whether it's to fix a problem or to grow something new. It doesn't matter. Or what to eat for dinner. I'm feeling hungry. Where should I eat? That kind of thing. Bring you back to the moment, identifying what you're thinking or feeling, and then what you should do about it.
And in the car, we were talking about food and hunger, and we were talking about how food is an agent of a message, and that one of the most articulate ways you can communicate something to someone with something other than a word is through food. And Bev, you were telling me just a really moving, beautiful story.
Yeah, when we were talking about that, I was relating that to my grandmother making me my favorite peach cobbler. And I thought she did that for me every time. And she made it for me because of that love that she has. But what I realized is, with that intention of she's cooking this in love, that whole state of beingness at the time. And as Jeffrey was pointing out, everything is energy, everything. And so my grandmother was putting the energy of love into that food. Well, what do you think happens when I'm ingesting? I'm ingesting the energy of love into my body. My whole body gets to process on another level love.
Do we experience as the people we are, the personalities, the human beings that we are, do we experience nutrition on more than the physical level? Is there such a thing as being nourished by something that we eat or drink that nourishes some other part of our being, spirit, body, mind, essence? How can I wrap my brain around this one?
Yeah, nourishment in that sense comes from that place within ourselves that we are, that we're trying to understand, that we're trying to reach. It's waiting to nourish this life, because the personality, we have to understand, we're in the midst of creating a relationship. The whole plan down here is to have relationships. We call them families, we call them meditation groups, whatever those are. The plan is to bring ourselves into a relationship. But as we're told in this ageless wisdom, there's only one relationship happening. It is divine with divine. So when we are sitting in this circle, there's only one relationship that we're really in truth experiencing. It's souls sitting around trying to stimulate into that physical personality consciousness what's already known.
Well, we've got to get the blocks that are keeping us apart in a way, because we're part of the bigger ideas. We're all one. We're not that different. We're really not that different.
We're not different at all.
We're not different at all.
Jennifer, when you were talking about nurturing, though, I just want to add that I think it goes back to intention, because my grandpa and grandma did not have a lot of money at all. And my grandma would love to have us all over, and she would make a big pot of beans with a ham hock. I'm going to cry. That's all she had. She just didn't have a lot. But because she nurtured it with her love, I think that nurtures you, even if you're poor and you're not eating a nutrient-dense meal and, all the food groups and all the colors. If you put that love in there, that intention of nourishment,
it'll keep you going.
It will keep you going.
Mm-hmm.
People thrive all over the world with less than healthy meals because they've put intention and love into it. And they believe that this is more than just positive calories in your body. I grew eating a pot of beans with my grandma because her love was in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And when you come from places where you know what that tastes like, it allows us to remember and then share and say, our action for the weekend is put it in the things you make and even the things you eat.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you go to the store and you get something already made, say you're not a cook.
Bless it. Reiki it.
Just put your intention into it and say, I went and got you this cheesesteak sandwich over at Frankie's where I know they're making it with brotherly love, but I'm going to add mine to it. Like a little extra sauce or seasoning.
And thank the universe for that opportunity and that food. No matter what it is, thank the universe for it. Thank the animal for it. The Mother Earth for, growing the wheat to make the bread.
I want to ask the three of you while I have you here. We started the conversation off by saying we're in the present. And one of the best ways to stay present is to stay grateful. Is gratitude one of the ways we can, as a little tool, help ourselves stay in the present moment? Is it one of the most positive ways we can do it? Because I sometimes feel myself slipping into a trip down memory lane. And that doesn't always get me where I want to go, because you can't move forward if you're looking backwards, and it doesn't really work that way. How can I remember to stay present, and is grateful the best way to do it, or is there something else you can recommend?
Gratitude is a power tool, because what it's doing is it's bringing you into a pattern now. of being in a moment of grace. It is you saying that in your faith, something that we can't touch, taste, with the senses, that you recognize there is something gracing your life that's greater than you. That's you're just a part of that whole. So every day when we wake up and we just give gratitude, and however you do that, you are really connecting to the source of your life.
You're raising your vibration and attracting more.
And when you're grateful, you can't be in a bad mood. If you're having a bad day or a bad moment or a bad memory, if you were to be thankful at that instant, it would shift.
Just choose anything.
Anything. It'll shift your attitude. It'll shift your mind. It'll shift the direction.
Yeah, your trajectory will totally change if you just stop and go, okay, I'm going to list 3 things right now in my life that are good. And it could be something simple. I got a ride to work today, or I have clean clothes to wear. It really doesn't matter, but focusing on something that is good in your life will change your whole path.
We're sharing this with Bev Wood, who's here with us, Rianne Maldonado, and Jeffrey Green, who is the plant medicine editor of Natural Awakenings magazine. He's got a new issue coming out not too long from now, and is regularly helping us understand the ways that what we can experience in the natural world and our ingestibles and in our experience can be enhanced. I wanted to give you can you give us a scoop on what's coming next month and what's on the current issue?
Well, the current issue is really on urban and suburban agriculture, and it's on gut health. Now, obviously, there's plants involved there. The agriculture, you're growing something. And then the gut health. Good food, good fruits, good vegetables help heal a bad gut. So that issue is currently out there, available throughout Tucson and actually throughout the country in other cities as well. Now, next month, it's in the forefront of my brain because I just met the deadline for one of my huge articles.
And that's why you're here today, because you already did your deadline.
Correct. My deadline was at 12 noon. I submitted it at 11:59.
No wonder you're in such a happy mood.
I'm in a great mood. Articles are done. Deadlines were met. It allowed me to be here with all of you today. Now, next month, one of the themes of the magazine is going to be children's health.
Oh, I love that.
And also natural pet care.
Wow.
Yeah, so next month is going to be a great issue. So my big feature article, the title of it is, I'll give you all just a little teaser. It's titled Miracles, Magic, or Medicine.
Oh, okay.
And
that's a good way to tease us.
Yeah, I try to incorporate all 3 of those, not only as an individual entity, but how they are more alike than most of us think.
Rianne's got her cards in her hand. I think she's going to pull
one. I wasn't ready yet.
Oh, you weren't ready.
No,
and then, Bev, I'm going to let you know. Can you give us 30 seconds on the International BioTouch Foundation and where it is in town and what you've got going on over there that really is for everybody?
Yeah, BioTouch is for everybody because everybody can learn it very easily and use it in their lives. It's an amazing gift for us in this time of shifting because it helps us to remember in that self-awareness who we are and that we are connected. And we are here in town. We have a center in town. Our national headquarters is in Tucson on Pima Street off of Craycroft. And we have a wonderful website, justtouch.com. You can go to and really learn about what's waiting for you. This is an amazing healing technique that, Michelle is a wonderful practitioner herself and a staff member. So it's great.
And we are here at the end of our first hour. And this is Around the Table live from the City of Gastronomy, AM 1030 The Voice, your trusted source for local news and talk. This is KVOI. We will be back with more right after this. But do me one favor in the meantime. When you get home today, hug your kids and count your blessings. We'll be right back. 2:05 p.m. and we are live. This is lunchtime. We're having a nice late lazy lunch in these summer dog days here in the city of gastronomy. This is Around the Table. AM 1030 The Voice, trusted local news and talk, where our local news is our local talk. The local talk is our local news. And each and every day we invite the most interesting and influential tastemakers, newsmakers, lawmakers, style makers, movers and shakers, healers, foodies, friends. We save the seat at the head of our table each and every day for our guest of honor, and that's you. And during the break between the segments, we were talking about the fact that in some ways, having this wonderful privilege of being able to invite friends to come together to share the things that they do in our community to enrich our lives and our world, and they do it relatively selflessly. They do it harmlessly. Is that a word?
It is.
It is now.
It is now.
Harmlessness.
Harmlessness is a word, but someone can do something harmlessly. They can do it generously. They can do it lovingly. And everybody in this room right now is one of my friends in the business of doing just that. My good friend Leah Marcus Peterson is a woman who I have mad respect for. She is an extraordinary leader in our community. She's a strong, beautiful woman who is a mother. She's a pioneer. She is generous. And when she ran for Congress,